steps I take from my bed to the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Will today be rough or will today be great? 9, 10, 11, 12. Lately I've been going through hell. 13, 14, 15, 16. Today's the day. Are you coming? Are you sick of being normal? I'm sick of being average. I'm sick of being mortal. I'm about to be a savage. I see a lot of things that I want, I will have them. I got a new mindset that I just established. I'll march through the cold with the nails on the pavement. I'll shovel that coal just to get out the basement. My story will be told, helping others make changes. I'll be so bold, they will watch in amazement.
Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it.
Foot up on the pedal, pushing hard to the metal. Make a deal with the devil. Channel rage through my vessel into something that is special. Energy of a rebel, going up a level. I just wanna be greatness. I could feel changes, turn a new page and tie up my laces. I will be the bravest, break out of my cages. I will not be nameless, I will not be aimless.
Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it.
All right. We are back with the Locked In podcast, episode 175. Realistically, it is kind of crazy that we are 25 away from 200. How far we've come here is really, really wild, and I want to thank every single one of you who has supported for this podcast, regardless as if you've done stuff behind the scenes, come on as a guest, been watching this since the beginning, or if you're a new follower and subscriber to this podcast. We had quite a few people subscribe today, so we'll see who kind of joins in here. Just want to let you guys know that if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Also, hit that notification bell to turn notifications on, because we release new episodes every single week and you do not want to miss it. If you're watching on Facebook, I'm assuming that you're already part of the group, so I want to say thank you for that. Continue to like and comment on YouTube or Facebook. It really doesn't matter, whatever platform you are watching or live streaming on. If you're not just listening, if you're actually streaming, feel free to comment in and chime in with your thoughts here tonight. As you saw in promotion, we are going to be talking about some sports updates. But specifically the NBA Finals, which kicks off tonight, actually in 45 minutes or so, and is sponsored by YouTube TV. So we have that. That's going to be the Celtics versus the Mavericks. We got a pretty interesting series coming up. I'll speak my thoughts on that. And we're also going to talk about the state of the WNBA. A lot of good things going on there. We've never covered the WNBA on this podcast. All 174 episodes to this point have not featured the WNBA, but it is a hot talking point right now. And honestly, I've never really ever followed the WNBA. As someone who's an avid basketball watcher, I've never followed the WNBA. I know players like Lisa Leslie and some famous players, Deanna Tanasi, or however you say her last name. But ultimately, I, to be honest, have not been a follower of the WNBA. But I've been kind of looking into it, doing my research. Everybody knows Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, a lot of different things going on there. I'm honestly happy for the sport. I think it's awesome. There's a lot of drama going on right now. I'll give my thoughts and we'll go from there. We are supposed to have two other guests on tonight. One is very tentative. The other one is supposed to be a definite. So we shall see how that works out here, because I want to be as locked in as possible on the Locked In podcast, but I do want my guest to be here. However, I don't plan on taking this any longer than 8:30. Just realistic here. This was kind of a buffer week for us because of the fact that, well, number one, I have been talking a lot of sports on my YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel here at the Locked In Podcast. So I've been posting a lot of content on there. I'm trying to do more on Instagram too with it. But he's like, you know what, let me just turn this into a podcast here this week, turn this into an episode, because my guest for this week, he had to reschedule for next week. So I had a really good guest lined up. Things happened. We talked at the beginning of the week and decided to reschedule for next week. That being said, I want to hop into this episode. I don't want to hold up anybody's time here. We'll see as some people I see are coming in. We'll dive into this. All right, so the NBA Finals, I'm going to keep this short, sweet, and to the point. I'm going to try to keep these both run through them real quick. So the NBA Finals, we have the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. I am a Philadelphia 76ers fan. So as a Philadelphia 76ers fan, if I go full bias here, I am not a fan of the Boston Celtics. However, I do recognize that they have been the best team in the NBA this year. Completely. Top to bottom have been the best team in the NBA. It's coming from a Philadelphia 76ers fan, all bias aside. They look fantastic. They've gone, I think it was 12-2. 12-2. 12-2 throughout the NBA playoffs. So they swept the Indiana Pacers. They went 5 games with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And they went 5 games with, who did I play in the first? The Miami Heat. And a lot of people talk and they say it was a Jimmy Butler-less Miami Heat. Donovan Mitchell missed some games in the Cavaliers-Celtics series. And Halliburton missed games in the Pacers series. Before we get to the Mavericks, I'll talk Celtics here. Realistically, even with those things aside, I think the series could have been extended a little longer. Boston would have won those series still, in my opinion. Yeah, Miami had a great year last year. I would not have seen Miami, even with Jimmy Butler, beating Boston in the playoffs. Halliburton could have been interesting. They maybe could have extended a little longer. Boston still would have won that series. And realistically, Donovan Mitchell, I don't think was going to change the outcome of the Cavaliers series. Boston has just been top to bottom, the best team in the NBA this year. And I said, at I think a midpoint this season, it wasn't on this podcast. Maybe I did state it at some point on this podcast. I'd have to go back to our sports episodes when we covered specifically NBA. But I will say this. I have been saying to people around me that I really thought that Boston, from like the midpoint of the season, seeing how they were playing, was going to win the NBA title. Unless they do Boston things. Now, Boston has known to choke. This year, they've looked great in the playoffs. Last year, we've seen them. They were probably a title favorite last year, and they choked. And then you have them this year, clear title favorite, because they were top to bottom, the best team across the league. And now you're going up against a team who some people had them as potential finals players. And I could have seen this somewhat coming. The Dallas Mavericks are on the other end with Luka, Donic, and Kyrie Irving. They were a sneaky team coming into the playoffs. And a lot of people thought that this was going to be Luka's time, like finally to get to the NBA Finals. So I don't think it's a big shock that they're there. The Timberwolves kind of came out of nowhere, and I'm not going to lie, going into that series, I thought that maybe it was a 7-game series and that the Timberwolves win it. I was a little bit disappointed in Minnesota, how they played. I just think they got bullied by Luka and the Mavericks, realistically, especially on the glass. And then, nobody's in the playoffs has been able to stop Luka. This is going to be a really interesting series. I'll give you my prediction, but I'm not going to give it to you up front. I'm going to kind of break this down, and I'll give you my prediction on the back end. I think this is an interesting series for multiple reasons. Number one, I think the Kyrie Irving matchup is going to be very interesting. You're probably going to see Derek White or Jrue Holiday, who both are fantastic defenders. And I would say, as a guard, Derek White is one of the best guard defenders in the NBA. Jrue Holiday is just a fantastic overall defender. Fantastic overall. Respect the hell out of his game. This is it. It's going to be really interesting to see that matchup. Now, I'm going to be honest. On the other end, Luka Doncic. I don't think anybody on the Celtics is going to be able to guard Luka. Luka is just going to be able to get his. Similarly, I think Jalen Brown has been playing fantastic throughout the playoffs. He's been literally just outstanding, his play through these playoffs. And the next factor here is Boston is getting Porzingis back. Kristaps Porzingis is going to be back for the NBA Finals. They said he's going to be starting tonight. And it probably helped a lot that they had a week. Like, the Celtics have had a week and a half off, and they a little over a week for the Mavericks because they won 5 games. Celtics swept. They've been off since not this past weekend, but the prior weekend. So they've been off like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. A lot of rust, but they are going to be home. That really allowed Porzingis to really get back into the fold here. I think there's a big X factor, though, and I'm going to tell you who it is. It's Jayson Tatum. This guy picks and chooses a lot of times. And I have no hate for Tatum. I wish the Sixers had him. Wish we were able to draft him. But Jayson Tatum disappears sometimes in big moments. Even with that, though, the Celtics are just so strong, and they can shoot the ball, and they are just so well-rounded. They may be able to even overcome him having a few bad games in this series. But I will say, Jayson Tatum is a player to watch because he does disappear in big games a lot of times. There's times he shows up where he's going off for 51 in a game 7, and there's other times where he's just irrelevant and just does not show up. He's he has a lot to prove, in my opinion. So does Jaylen Brown, but Jayson Tatum has a lot to prove in this series, and the Celtics in general. This team has a lot to prove. They've been to the NBA Finals. They were here 2 years ago against Golden State, and all the pressure is on Boston. The crazy thing is I think Boston can overcome that pressure. I will say this: all the pressure is on Boston though in this series. I think the Mavericks are just playing free, But ironically, I think in Luka's head, Luka is probably putting a lot of pressure on himself, thinking that the pressure's on him, and that while it's Boston's turn to win, Luka's like, well, it's my turn. I finally got to the NBA Finals, so he thinks, that I think that's just how the competitor probably in the guy. I know Kyrie wants to get another one. He's never won one without Bron. There's a lot of X factors, such as Daniel Gafford down low. PJ Washington, who can hit those corner threes, it seems like always in clutch situations in these games. They got some players for the Mavericks as well. It's going to be interesting, the matchup overall. I'll have some analysis breakdown that I want to kind of say. I already kind of said who the matchup I thought was to watch here. Now I want to see. So if you actually look at the head-to-head this year, Boston is 2-0. So there is some context that needs to be broken down there. The first win was in January, and it was before the Mavs really remade their roster at the trade deadline. So they won 119-110. It wasn't a blowout victory by any margin. It was a 9-point win. But it was before they revamped their roster. And the second time that they played, it was Boston also won that game as well. And that was on the other side when the Mavericks had already revamped their roster. So it's going to be really, I mean, to be honest, like you can't always go off of previous season statistics though, because in the playoffs, it's just different ball. It seems like the Mavericks have just been playing on another plane, another level, another planet, and they just haven't been playing the same type of ball. I will say this is a very tricky matchup though, because Boston, when they are firing on all cylinders, are just unbeatable. I'm going to be honest. And I think there's going to be a lot to watch. I'll put down my notes here. I think the biggest X factor in this series, if I'm being honest, 3-point attempts. Who can limit those 3-point attempts and who can get the ones they want? Who can get the spacing and who can get the shots? Three-pointers are a big part of both of these teams. Boston shoots a ton of them, and the Mavericks are good at making a lot of them. So I was reading something that said Missoula wants the Celtics to let them fly. And to be honest, I don't disagree with them. I mean, the way they've hit these shots all year, they make more a lot of times than they miss. So by that margin, you're going to take them. And honestly, so if you actually look at their statistics this year, nearly half of them, 44% of the shot attempts have come from behind the arc, the highest share this postseason. So they've shot more than a little bit less than half of their shots have come from right behind the arc. But 44% is a large margin for 3-point attempts. So the Celtics have shot a lot from behind the arc. It's going to be interesting. I will say this: the Mavericks don't launch as many as Boston. Boston launches them. They literally throw up a ton of them a game. But they've specialized. They have specialized in the most valuable ones on the board. If you look at it, Dallas has led the league in corner 3-point attempts during the regular season and is doing the same in the playoffs. PJ Washington's one of those guys that hits them from the corner. Kyrie can hit them from the corner. Luka's not really a corner 3 guy. I mean, if you actually look at where Luka shoots the ball, it's top of the key, corner key, like midway between the corner and the top. He shoots them. So he's not really a corner 3-point shooter, but they've been leading the league in it. So PJ Washington's one of those guys. And Derrick Jones Jr., a guy that was, a slam dunk. I don't know if he won the slam dunk contest, but he was a contestant in it. Guy's a beast on the glass. I never knew he could shoot 3-pointers the way he did until I seen his play in the playoffs. I was like, where did this guy started learning to shoot 3-pointers, and he hits a lot of corner ones. So it's interesting. They're shooting 39% from 3-pointers as they've run through the West. I mean, 3-pointers from the corner as they've run through the West. The heart of it is Luka, but he's not a corner 3-point shooter. I'm talking about just in general. But it's going to be really interesting. And the Mavericks have had a lot of talent go through Dallas since they've been there. They had Brunson at one point. They actually had Porzingis. And ironically, Kyrie has played for the Celtics. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I think every single time Kyrie has the ball, Boston is going to boo. There's a lot of bad blood with Kyrie Irving in Boston since his days when he's played there. I think this is going to be a fun matchup. I'm rooting for the Dallas Mavericks because I don't like Boston, but if I have to go prediction here, I'll be honest. Let me give you my final thoughts first. Then I'll give you my prediction. So I've had a lot of time to think about this series because of the fact that it has, we already knew when the finals game 1 was starting. And it was over a week ago where we knew it. So my final thoughts, I have some questions here. How much will Boston play its preferred top coverage in the pick and roll? Because they play a lot of it. They're a lot of preferred drop coverage in the pick and roll. They play a lot of that. Having just watched Luka and Kyrie torch Minnesota's, and I mean torch it. So how much will it play that preferred drop coverage? Understanding what Dallas can do. Key. And I'll be honest, I do not have the most faith in Joe Mazzulla. That's not hate. That's realistic. Joe Mazzulla does not always make the smartest decisions. Now he has the most talented team in the NBA, in my opinion, the absolutely most talented team. So was their winning this year from pure talent, or can Joe Mazzulla really coach? I think that's actually going to come into play in this series. But I don't fully trust Joe Mazzulla because we'll see. This is going to be a coaching thing. Are they going to play that preferred drop coverage, or are they going to understand from the film and understand that that's a very risky move? Maybe you come out starting it and see what happens. But if Dallas continues to torch just like they have been in the playoffs, do they stay with that? That's a coaching thing. My next question is, will Boston start out cross-matching on defense, sliding Porzingis, Horford, Gafford, Horford off of Gafford and Lively, and over the wings to Washington, Jones, and Green, trying to keep them out of the pick-and-roll hunt? So, essentially, are they going to slide bigs outside to kind of keep them out off that pick-and-roll? It's another question here. If we look on the other side of the ball and we actually go towards the Mavericks side, I have a question here. So both Doncic and Irving have committed playing defense in the postseason. We've seen it. They both actually played decent defense. They're not the best defenders, to be honest, but they've committed where they've needed to. They're not great defenders. They're okay, but they played decent. Can Boston turn the Hunters into the Hunted enough to get into the legs and sap some of that energy that they're going to need on the offensive end? So they're going to need all the energy that they can have. Are they going to play defense on them? That's going to be the key here. Are they going to continue to play that type of defense? Where's Dallas going to station its centers defensively? It's a big question. Where will the Mavericks play straight from the opening tip, or will they mess around with something like Gafford and Drew and a wing on Porzingis just to see how Boston reacts? It's going to be a coaching matchup. Overall, Boston is the more talented team, in my opinion, top to bottom. But both teams have a lot of stars. So, but Boston has more stars, for sure. Some other questions. I don't want to ask them all here. Let's see what we can ask. This is another one. How large of a role is Maxi Kleber going to play? As a more mobile, floor spacing big man, one perhaps better equipped to match up with Porzingis and Horford, which I really thought than Dallas is better, but more limited two-headed monster in Gafford and Lively. We'll see what happens if he's going to have a role in the series. It is worth noting, though, that Kidd has mostly played Kleber at the 4 since getting him back from injury because he's come off an injury. So that's big to note. And I got to be honest, if I had to really guess, the two bigs that they have in Gafford and Lively have just been unstoppable, like beast mode. So, I think the benefits of having those two, to be honest, on the floor at all times just might outweigh any potential drawbacks there. So we'll see. Boston is very athletic. They're very quick. They're very fast. We're going to see. How aggressive is Tatum going to be getting to the rim? He likes to sit back and get comfortable a lot of times and throw threes up. And when he's not making them, he'll continue to do it. I think Jayson Tatum, though, is one that can get to the basket at ease with many defenders. So how aggressive is he going to be? When they played the first time, statistics show here, he drove to the basket 17 times in that win, which is nearly double his regular season average. So I think it's going to be – he took a season-high 19 free throws in that game as well. So will he try to get inside? The way Lively and Gafford have been playing, though, could be interesting. Excuse me there. Let's take a look here. I just want to look and see if there's any comments. All right, cool. Wanted to make sure I'm addressing everything. So my overall prediction here, I'm going to say Celtics in 6. I hate to say that. Drum roll. Celtics in 6. Who do I want to win? The Mavericks? Do I think the Mavericks can win the series? Yes, I do. I think it comes with taking one in Boston. But Boston has been really good on the road. They have not lost on the road
in the playoffs. Just think about that for 1 second. They beat Miami both games at home. I mean, on the road. They beat Cleveland both games in Cleveland. They beat the Pacers both games in Indiana. They're
6-0 on the road,
which is all the more reason that the Mavericks have got to come out. And they've got to take one of these 2 games. And then they got to hope that they can win one at home against Boston. You can do that. It's anybody. If it's 2-2 by the time you get to game 5, anybody can win the series, in my opinion. You know, I think it's a best of 3, and probably could go 7. And I just think that Boston does win this series. The toughest time, if I had to be honest, if you look at it here, your toughest time in the playoffs, the team that gave them the most trouble was Oklahoma City, which is a young, fairly big team. But with Porzingis back, I'm going to be honest, as an X factor here, Boston is basically a bigger and better and even more balanced version of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And they're also one that has much more experience than the Oklahoma City Thunder, who's an extremely young team, had no experience in the playoffs. Oklahoma City had not even been into the playoffs since Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were there. Boston's been here 2 years ago. They squandered it against a Golden State Warriors team who was, had their final window, I think. And Steph Curry just played lights out. Can Luka do that? Yeah, but I just think that, I don't know. This is Boston's time, and it's going to be extremely embarrassing if the Boston Celtics do not win this series. It's an absolute must-win for Boston. There are no excuses here. Unless, Jayson Tatum goes down with, an ACL or something crazy. I don't wish injuries on anybody. This is an absolutely must-win with the roster constructed for the Boston Celtics. Unless, barring anything catastrophic, it's a must-win. If I'm a Philadelphia 76ers fan and we're here, it's a must-win. Boston was here 2 years ago. They have to win this. They have to win it. There are no excuses. You can't go to the finals 2 times in the last 3 years and lose this series, especially they are favored. So I'm going to give you a fun fact here. This is the first time that Boston is favored going into the NBA Finals since, take a guess here. Even if nobody's going to comment in here, I'll give you a second to think about that one. They were in the NBA Finals in 2022. They were in the NBA Finals in 2010, I believe. And they were in the finals in 2008 when they won it. They were also in the finals in 1986. Which out of those 4 do you think the last time the Boston Celtics were favored in a series? I personally thought they were the better team in 2022, but they weren't favored in that series. The better record was Golden State. Golden State had home court. I thought Boston was the more talented team, even though they were second seed that year. But when you got Steph Curry, everything's off. They weren't favored. If you're saying the 2010 team was the one the Lakers won, they weren't favored. The Lakers were. And if you're thinking of 08, the year they won the championship when they played the Lakers, they were not favored in that series. The Los Angeles Lakers were favored in that series as well. The last time the Celtics were favored going into an NBA playoff series was 1986. 1986 going into the NBA Finals. Almost 40 years ago. Boston is favored, and they have been head and shoulders above everybody this year. There is no excuse for them to lose. But then again, we've seen Luka magic. Luka Doncic has been absolutely incredible. He can do things in crazy spots. And yeah, he's going to chirp to you. He's going to talk some shit. I'll be honest, I wasn't always the biggest fan of Luka, but I've come to like him. Because he talks a lot of shit, and when he's playing your team, you don't really like that. But and he's playing a team you want to beat him. Like I wanted Minnesota to win. I've come to like him though. I think the dude's funny as hell. He's a competitor. I mean, the dude's a winner. What can you not like about him? He gives his all. I don't think he takes things for granted. We'll see. Luka, I'm gonna be honest. So if we're breaking down here too, Boston not only has more experience on the big stage, but they have more high-level shot creators and shot makers. Luka's going to put that fear of God in them. You just know he is. But the Celtics have been the best team in the NBA since the season started. Like I said, top to bottom. I personally think they're going to be the best team when it ends too. Outweighing any crazy coaching decisions by Joe Mazzulla, unfortunately. But his coaching can become a factor in this series. If it becomes a close, I'm going to be honest. If games get close down the stretch, I'm going to put my money on Dallas because I think Dallas is a better closeout team. Although the Celtics have showed me some stuff, I'll be honest. The Pacers made a lot of mistakes in that last series, and Boston was able to capitalize and make some clutch plays. But if I'm thinking of who's the better closeout team, give me Kyrie and Luka because I think that they're the guys who are going to close it out if it's close. I think Boston has to get somewhat of a lead in some of these games. Not saying the final scores can't be close, but like maybe like Dallas scores like 6 or 7 unanswered towards an end. But I'll be honest, they need a little bit of a cushion. If it's like if it's a 1-possession game, in the final 2 minutes of a game, I don't know if I just think that Kyrie and Luka can close a game out better than Dallas. So I'm going to take the Celtics here in 6. Do I think that the Mavericks have no shot of winning? Absolutely not. I don't see it that way. I think this is actually going to be a fun series, and I think that the Mavericks have a lot of potential to win it. My initial reaction and my initial prediction though is Celtics in 6. If it goes 7 games in Boston, we've seen Boston do some have some crazy losses. We saw, they came all the way back and then lost to Miami in 7 last year. Boston struggles at home. If it gets to 7, I'm going to be honest. I think that Dallas wins it. I think Boston has to close out in 6. If it gets to 7, I think that Dallas wins it. So I'll leave you with that. But, Yeah, what's up, Mike? My boy Mike down there. What's up, brother? I think if this series, thanks for tuning in too, bro. If this series goes to 7, I think Dallas wins. But my initial prediction is going to be Boston Celtics in 6. I hate to say that, but Boston has been the top team this year. They got guys that can shoot the ball. They're talented top to bottom, as good as Luka and Kyrie are. Games get close. I'm taking Dallas. If it goes to 7. Boston sometimes struggles at home. I'm gonna take Dallas if it goes 7. And take Dallas to upset Boston on their home court. My initial prediction is though Boston is going to close this series out in 6 games. So those are my thoughts there. So I'd like to chime in with my guests here, but they are tentative. Like I said, this was kind of for anybody new here. It's been a switch. There's my brother here. Yo, what's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up, my man? What's up? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I actually just ran through an entire analysis on this Celtics Mavs series. We're actually going to jump to the WNBA, but what's up, brother? Thanks for joining in.
No problem, man. No problem. I tried to get in as quickly as I possibly could. I just finished eating some dinner. I got home pretty late from work, so glad to stay on. Is Dante here, or are you just by yourself?
Yeah, just by myself, man. I had y'all as kind of like tentative here, so I didn't know if anybody was going to pop on. If not, I was just going to wrap up in probably like 20 minutes, but I kind of went through my analysis here, man. Just like the gist of it is I kind of broke down some key figures. I'll go back through some of my notes here. I was saying I think that this is going to be an interesting series. I'll give you the ultimate prediction here. I have Boston closing it out in 6 games. I said if it goes to 7, I think Dallas wins. Boston has had some tough times and have played with their food at home. Ironically, Boston seems like they play better on the road. And if it goes to 7 at home, I think that Dallas wins the series. But Boston, I've been telling you, like during the season, Boston has head and shoulders just been above everybody this year. And they've really, really lived up to it in the playoffs. Minus Jimmy Butler, minus Halliburton in a couple games, minus Donovan Mitchell. I understand, but Boston still would have won those series, even if those guys play. I don't know, man. I think Boston is just a more talented team. And I just think that Boston wins in 6. And I hate to say that, but I said, do I think the Mavericks have no chance to win the series? Absolutely not. I think the Mavericks have a good shot to win it. It really depends. If it goes to 7, I think Dallas is going to win it. But I also said in the guts of games, if the games are 1 possession in the final 2 minutes of the game, give me Dallas. I think Kyrie and Luka are better at closing out games. Jalen Brown has shown he can close games out very well, but I'll be honest, if you have to put it in Jayson Tatum's hands, I don't know, man.
Well, they're going to get a boost because I heard Porzingis is coming back. I don't know if he's coming back like full time or maybe if he's just playing, a half or anything like that. I think that's a big piece for Boston. And even without Porzingis, they've just been dominant. I mean, they just basically breezed by through the entire Eastern Conference. They beat Miami in 5. They, excuse me, they beat Cleveland in 5, and then they just swept past the Pacers. But I like Dallas in this series. You know me, I'm a huge, Luka Doncic fan. And obviously, they also have Kyrie Irving there, and they have just a good, solid team overall. They built a good foundation down there in Dallas. I'm actually with what you said in the second part. I think this series is going to go 7 games, and I do think that Dallas will actually upset the Celtics in 7.
Wow.
And I think, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't know if Jayson Tatum and Jalen Brown can handle the pressure of a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. I think Dallas's advantage is that Kyrie's been there, even though he had LeBron James. He's proven that he can make clutch shots at the moment. We all remember that Game 7 back in 2016, even though LeBron James had that big block on Andre Iguodala. It was Kyrie's Irving's 3 that kind of, lifted them through to the NBA championship. I mean, he hit a 3 at a really, really clutch shot. And I think that if it goes to a Game 7, man, like you said, give me Kyrie Irving any time of the day. He has the experience, and I think he'll will Dallas through it. And also, Luka Doncic, man, can't say much about him, bro. I mean, he absolutely torched Minnesota in that closeout game in Game 5. I mean, some of those threes that he made were just flat out fucking disgusting. I mean, my man was hitting them from almost near half court. I mean, that's like some Steph Curry type of shit. I mean, I don't care how good your defense is. You ain't going to be able to guard that. If he's hitting from almost near half court, it's a wrap. So
yeah, and he's long too. He's long. He's tall, man. He's got length.
Yeah, he can play good. He can play decent defense too. Yeah, it's going to be a great series though, man. I'm really, really happy that the Mavs came out of the West. Obviously, as much as I hate Boston, I have to give them mad props. Massive respect to their management and their organization. They've built a fantastic team up there. They're competitive every year, man. I mean, you can hate on them all you want to, man, but with the core that they got together, they're always going to have a chance to succeed and compete for many years to come.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I like your point there, man. I agree. If it goes to 7, man, all the pressure is going to be on Dallas. I mean, I'm not Dallas, out Boston, because the Mavericks, they don't have pressure, man. Like at the end of the day, Kyrie wants to get a second one and prove he can win one without LeBron. But I mean, Luka's still young, man. I mean, they've never been to the Luka's never been to the finals. This is definitely a pressure situation for Boston. I said earlier in this segment that if Boston loses this series, there are absolutely no excuses, barring something catastrophic like an injury.
Well, I mean, I guess it would depend on how they lose the series. Like if it comes down to 7 games and they lose to like on the final shot, like if Kyrie or Luka hit a final shot, then it is what it is. But like let's say they lose like in 5 games or 6 games, and the games really aren't even that competitive, like the Mavs just steamroll over them, then yeah, I think that organization's in big trouble. At that point, if that really happens, you're going to have to break up Brown and Tatum.
Well, that's catastrophic. I don't see that happening. Like if that happens, yes, you would probably have to break the team up. But I even think if you go 7 games and you lose, this is Boston's second time in 3 years being here. They went up against a more experienced Golden State team at the time, so it was understandable that they lost 2 years ago. I personally, in that series, thought Boston was the more talented team, but when you actually looked at it, Golden State had the better record. They had the home court, and Steph Curry and like those guys had already been there. That was like their 6th or 7th time being to the NBA Finals. So, that's not a knock on Boston. I think that Udoka did the best job he could. Tatum disappeared in big moments, though, in that series. So, and I'll be honest, Tatum has played very well, but there's been no pressure on the Boston Celtics thus far. This is going to be a pressure series, and I think that's the X factor. I think Jalen Brown is going to continue to play well. I think Derek White going to continue to play well, and Drew Holiday's defense is unbelievable. The guy is a ridiculous defender, and he can shoot the ball too. Jayson Tatum is going to be a key. Because that guy sometimes in big moments, as talented as Jayson Tatum is, I wish the Sixers had drafted him. That guy disappears in big moments. We've seen it time and time again. This is his time, man. This is the Celtics series to win. And I actually said this earlier too. I was looking at some statistics. This is the first time. I'm gonna actually let you guess this one, man. When do you think the last time that the Celtics were favored going into an NBA Finals? I'll give you 4 chances to guess. 2022. 2010, I think that was the other time they played. 2008 when they won it. 1986. When do you think the last time?
2008.
1986, man.
Last time the Lakers were favored in that 08 series. That this is the first time Boston has been favorites in almost 40 years in the NBA Finals. Well, their fourth time being there.
I'm surprised because the Boston Celtics had a better record than the Lakers. If I remember correctly, I think they finished the year 66-16, whereas the Lakers, I think, were only like 57-25 that year. So that's really surprising.
I would have guessed the same thing. They had Richard Jefferson and Kendrick Perkins talking about it. Nah, it was 86, man. So they actually were not favored. I guess because how well the Lakers had been playing in the playoffs that year, that they actually favored Kobe and the Lakers that year to win.
Yeah. You know what? Now I remember. You know why? Because even though they had a good season, even though they had a good record in the regular season, it's all coming back to me now. And I remember because it took them 7 games to beat the Hawks in the first round, and they needed home court. Then they needed home court again to beat LeBron and the Cavs in 7 games. And then I think they played Detroit that year in the Eastern. This was before everything went bad in Detroit, when they traded Chauncey Billups to get AI and all that. That was the last time that Detroit was relevant. But I remember they faced the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think they beat Detroit in 6 games. So by the time they played LA, I think what people had thought was, oh, okay, like they've had a rough run. Even though they got to the finals, they needed home court to get through the Hawks and the Cavs. So they probably had LA favored because Kobe was there. They had just traded to get Pau Gasol earlier in the year. They had Lamar Odom. I think Andrew Bynum was injured at the time. He wasn't playing. And they had Phil Jackson at the helm. So that's probably why they thought the Lakers were favored.
Yeah. It's So
it took a while, but the memory's coming back to me.
It's all there, man. So it's gonna be interesting, man. I was like 1986, so there's no reason Boston is favored in this series heavy.
Yeah, bro, me and you weren't even alive.
Exactly. I know, man.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up, Dante?
Yeah, how you doing, my man?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling.
Yeah, we were just breaking down our I'm gonna try to keep it because I had already been on here since 7:30, so I'll try to keep it till like maybe 8:40, so like another 20 minutes. We broke down our predictions on the Celtics and Mavs series. I was saying that if it goes 7 games, Dallas wins the series. I think Boston, though, my overall prediction is Boston's going to close it out in 6. Hates to say that, but they're top to bottom and the better team this year. So, what's your thoughts, man? Who do you think is going to win this NBA Final Series?
I'll be honest with you, man. It's a few players with like a killer instinct in the NBA, and Kyrie's one of them.
Luka too.
So, Luka too, but I'm gonna be honest. I got Kyrie for the MVP of the season.
I like it. I think in the finals too. Like if the Dallas wins it, Luka, I think doubt Dallas going to wind up winning the NBA, winning the Finals MVP.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what makes the key plays. Whoever makes the key plays will get the MVP award.
Yeah,
that's what I meant to say. I got Kyrie for MVP of the finals.
Okay.
I feel like he's just going to close the game. I feel like when the losing starts, he's going to pick it up. I'm not gonna lie. If you put like I think $10, $20 on him, that's like I'm about to look at it right now to be exact, but it was like a high thing for Kyrie to get MVP on FanDuel.
I feel like we're going back to the Super Bowl when we're coming up with all these billion props.
We're going through all the scenarios.
I just feel like Kyrie's gonna show them why he's the man, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad blood in Boston too with Kyrie Irving. Ever since he stepped on what do they call the Celtics the little leprechaun thing they call him old. They say he stepped on old Larry. When he stepped on old Larry. Remember when he did rub the foot? He stomped his foot on the logo. Yeah, there's a lot of bad blood up there in Boston. I think every time Kyrie has the ball, they're going to be going like crazy up there.
Yeah, and that's a hostile home crowd too. That's not like no joke of a home crowd. Like Boston legit has a home fan base, so that's like going back to 2008, man. When I was discussing it earlier, man. I mean, their home crowd was the big reason why, they ended up winning the title that year. They won almost every home game they played.
Yeah, if you put $10 on Kyrie Irving, that's $180. So 20, that's $360. I would do it because I feel like personally that he's going to be the MVP of the finals. Also, I feel like he's gonna close it. Like I feel like because of him, and he already been in that field where he wanted finals.
So I'm assuming you have
Last
Dallas.
shot game winner. He even if he's tired, if it's a tight game, I promise you, Kyrie's gonna finish it.
Yeah, he's proven to do it in his career. So I'm assuming you got the Mavericks winning the title. You got the Mavericks winning the series.
Yes. And another reason why is I'm not sure how many people think this, but I believe that Jalen Brown might be a better player than Tatum. Tatum has more talent, but Jalen Brown is just a better player. Sometimes it's about that killer instinct and that heart. I think he got more heart at the end of the day than Tatum. Tatum got the talent, but he don't got the heart. That's
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I was just saying that I think that's an X factor in this series. Is Jaylen Brown is going to do what he needs to do, I think. But I think Jayson Tatum has questions. Jayson Tatum is talented as hell. We've seen him in Game 7 versus the Sixers put up 51. But I'll be honest, there's not really pressure there because they always beat the Sixers. So Jayson Tatum, though, has a history of disappearing in big games. We saw it in the NBA Finals 2 years ago. You know, he had one game, I think, where he put up 9 points. Like, it's unacceptable for a superstar.
I felt like if the Sixers would have made it to play Boston, we would have won. We had a lot of complications in the last games of our run, but I don't know. Sixers had like a rocky road. You feel me? Like we had some complications with our players and stuff. I felt like if everybody was at 100%, we would have had a good chance of making it to the finals. Because I didn't feel like any team could beat us. But at the same time, you know how it goes.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I thought the Sixers had a good chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think if we would have played Boston, especially with Embiid banged up there, I think Boston would have beat us.
Yeah, but I don't got anybody for stopping Embiid.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I want to see what our team is like next year.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think they need a few pieces. I don't think like one big piece is going to be enough to compete with Boston. I think they need to make some more. They need a big piece, but they also need depth. They need players that can play like a lot of depth pieces. Like we've seen, that's what's won. Like they locked up Brown and Tatum in Boston, but I mean they also got a big in Porzingis, and then Boston just loaded with talent. Drew Holiday, like a lot of these guys are just. It's unbelievable the team they have. Derek White, Al Horford still playing decent basketball. Like,
yeah, they got the best management in the NBA, man.
They do.
And now they're competitive every year. It's not like you have an odd year. Like, dude, they're favorites to literally come out of the East every year, man.
I think that one thing that the Sixers can do that any team can do right now is pick up some players that's not in the NBA, but we're in the NBA. There's a lot of players out there that are good, talented, that's just not playing for a team right now. I feel like we need to target them instead of making trades with other teams and stuff. Target some free agents that's not on a team right now, but is working out every day or in the gym, just waiting to be picked up.
Yeah, they do need another. I do think they need a third piece, though. They definitely need a third piece to complement Maxine and Embiid on top of that. So I think they got to do both. The unfortunate reality is I don't want to go too much into the Sixers here because I don't want to really make it a Sixers episode, but to be honest, like, you know, the only real way they really get somebody without having to trade anything is if you get Paul George. That's the unfortunate reality is he has the option to walk away from LA and then come here or LeBron. But I mean, let's be realistic. I do not see LeBron James coming here.
You know what? I was saying that if I know LeBron wants to play with his son, right? I think we have like a first round pick coming up. So we could technically get LeBron and his son on one team.
We could, but here's the thing. I don't think LeBron's just going to go wherever his son goes. I really don't. I don't think he's going to like leave. I don't think he's going to like Philly. They were already saying is like the 5th or 6th option for LeBron right now. I don't think that like he's going to end his career coming here to the East Coast to play for Philly. I just don't see it happening. And I'm an avid LeBron fan. I just don't. I'm a huge LeBron fan. Like I just don't see that happening. And then the thing is, if you get LeBron, you have to have something on paper then if you draft Bronny that he comes here. Because if he doesn't come here, you're stuck with a guy who they're honestly saying in the scouting reports is unplayable. Like they're saying Bronny's not playable. Like he's not there. There's a lot of people projecting he's going to go undrafted because he's not. They're saying that he's not playable. So then you're stuck with a player. You're stuck with LeBron James' son, who I would. And to be honest, I definitely would not take him first round. I think you could use your pick somewhere else. If he does go, he'll probably go second round, and we have a second round pick too. So I don't think I would draft him first round unless LeBron on paper signs something saying if you draft my son, I'll come to Philly, and there's something viable. Then I'd do it.
Several times he's not retiring until he plays with his son. So I think that teams are looking at Bronny just to get LeBron.
Yeah, but like say like Detroit goes and drafts him, like the Detroit Pistons, who have no like. You think LeBron's gonna go to Detroit?
Well, I don't think he's going to go to. Well, under that scenario, I don't think he's going to go to Detroit, but I think he would want to finish his career playing with his son. I think that's very, very important.
I think LeBron would go anywhere his son is, but I also think he's going to bring somebody with him. You got to think about the influence that LeBron has. Like he can get players. He can get players. When I say it's some talented players that's not in the NBA right now, but they can still play that was in the NBA. Like he could definitely find some talent for the low. But back to the Mavericks. Kyrie's one of those players where, he has a lot of influence. He definitely has the killer instinct, and I don't see him losing. Man. Don't.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I said all pressure's on Boston if it gets to 7. Boston's been a much better away team. They've won every single game on the road this year. They're 6-0 on the road. They have not lost in the playoffs. They've swept the road. So I think it's very important for Dallas to take at least one of two in Boston. If they don't take one of two, I think that's going to be trouble for Dallas because Boston's played so well on the road. Like I said, if it goes 7 games, it's Dallas' game to win. They're playing free flow. Boston has all the pressure on them to win at home, and you just don't know what's going to happen in big games. I trust Luka too, man. Like Luka just is, like you were saying, Mario, like unguardable, man. At some points, man, there's just some shots that he hits, man. You just can't guard him.
Yeah, my thing is, like, I'll keep saying Kyrie. I'm not even mentioning Luka because I know Luka's going to go out there and carry and do what he needs to do his job. I'm not even worried about Luka. I keep saying Kyrie is because everything that Luka does not do, Kyrie will pick up on.
Yeah, they're a good duo, man.
They're both unguardable, but nobody's going to stop Kyrie. Nobody's going to stop Luka. You got two players that you cannot stop. But you also got on the other side, you got talented players that can be stopped.
Yeah. You got 2 players down low that a lot of people are talking about, either Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, who are 2 bigs that can absolutely guard at the rim. But the thing about that works in the Boston's favor there is they shoot a lot of threes. So perimeter defense, it's like, I don't know what type of perimeter defense they're going to be able to throw. Maybe they throw PJ Washington out on the outside or something. We'll see. But Boston has some talent. I mean, Dallas has some talent too. And they lead the league in corner threes too. At 39% they're shooting their corner threes right now. I don't know. This is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a fun series.
Yeah, that's why I have it going 7. Both teams are low with talent.
Yeah, man, they're actually about to kick off right now. Well, probably 15 minutes. It's game 1. They probably got a lot of things going on. So,
what time's the game?
8:30. But they, how they are. Because it's game 1. They probably got 15 minutes of talking and stuff.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, probably 8:45 is when first tip probably is. So that's my thoughts here. I kind of want to go WNBA and just cover a little bit here. I don't have a ton on it, but I just want to talk about like how good it's been kind of for the sport. It's like I said, it's the first time 174 episodes in this podcast. I've never mentioned WNBA once, and I'm not going to act like I've watched the WNBA every year. I know who Lisa Leslie is. I know who Diana Taurasi, whatever her name is. How do you ever say her last name? Obviously you got Angel Reese right now, Caitlin Clark. A lot of talk in the WNBA right now. It's good for the sport. I've been seeing just a lot of debates on a lot of different things. What's your guys' thoughts on the WNBA and what this is kind of? They're getting a lot of exposure now, so it's really good, I think, for the league, for them.
I feel like the first thing about the WNBA, you got 2 big players that was in college that entered the NBA, and I feel like people keep saying that because one of the players are white, they're bringing a lot of attention to the NBA and stuff. Honestly, I don't think it's a color thing. I feel like we like the two main players in the last year in college sports that made everybody look and watch women's basketball for college just entered the WNBA, and I feel like it's an exciting time to bring more awareness to the sport. Like you said, you had episodes where you didn't mention it. Now you're mentioning it. It's on ESPN all the time. It's on Instagram. It's on World Star. I feel like it's a good time for the sport just to build more awareness. The buzz is picking up. Highlights are picking up, and I feel like if they want to make more money and build a higher status like the NBA, then this is a great time to do it. I haven't watched a WNBA game. I have been watching the highlights, and it's interesting. Like I just haven't been watching the game. I definitely will go to a WNBA game.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I feel like
Yeah.
it's interesting. The talents be coming there. Um, I know some more talent about to go to the WNBA next year. It's exciting right now. It's at the
Yeah,
point
it
where
is.
it's exciting.
Let me put it to you this way. I posted a short this morning on something with Stephen A. Smith and Monica McNutt from ESPN First Take, kind of going back and forth on WNBA. It got 10,000 views since this morning. So it kind of shows you where the WNBA is right now in terms of a hot topic. A lot of people are talking about the WNBA, and if you guys didn't see that, it's kind of funny. You can watch it on the YouTube channel. Stephen A. Smith was called out by Monica McNutt. I don't know if either of you saw this. It was on ESPN First Take, and she said, "Stephen A., with your platform, you could have been talking about it 3 years ago if you really wanted to, like about the thing." And he was like shocked and baffled. And even Shannon Sharp's like, "Well, you're proving Stephen A.'s point. Nobody really cared about the WNBA until now." But Stephen A. kind of tried to mask it and act like he's been talking about the WNBA. He's like, "Who talks about the WNBA more than us at First Take?" Like, let's be realistic. Since the whole Caitlin Clark thing, like coming to the WNBA, people are talking about it a lot more. Like, nobody was mentioning the WNBA last year. If you look at it, like compared to what's being mentioned now, nobody was mentioning the WNBA. I never ever used to hear people saying, "Hey, you want to watch that WNBA game tonight?" Mario, you can talk on this too. I mean, I've never heard anybody say, "Let's get together, let's have a beer, and watch the WNBA game." I mean, now people are really tuning into these things. I honestly think it's great for the sport. It's great for women to, now that they're drawing in more viewers. Everybody used to make that complaint. Like, not everybody, but a lot of like women. "Oh, why don't women get paid as much as men in the sports and stuff?" Well, viewership and marketing and stuff. If people aren't watching your sport, there's not enough revenue coming into the sport. That's why NBA players get paid like they do, and that's why WNBA players get paid the way they do. But now there's a lot more opportunities for money because there's a lot more viewership, a lot more marketing. Caitlin Clark got what, a $20 million like endorsement deal or something. I'm like, it's good for the sport, man. It really is. It's a lot more viewership is coming their way. So I'm happy for them.
Yeah, it's crazy. If you actually look at her WNBA contract, it's actually only
Now,
$75,000, but
Yeah,
she got a $20 million endorsement deal. It's going to be like a case of Michael Jordan, where Michael Jordan made more Michael Jordan made more money playing for.
I think
yeah.
Oh, you good, man. No, I was going to say, yeah, Michael Jordan made more money off Nike than he did playing for the Chicago Bulls. I have a feeling that's probably what's going to happen to Caitlin Clark. She's probably going to make more money in endorsements than she is playing for the WNBA.
Yeah, they said Michael Jordan's like career earnings, and it was like I think like $90 million, like career earnings NBA, like total lifetime. And now Jordan's a billionaire. That goes to show all his money's come off of endorsements and obviously his businesses.
Yeah, that's why branding is so important.
Yeah, man, a brand is important. Tizzy, I guess, fell out, but no, I was just saying like branding's important and stuff like that. That's why it's really critical to really hone in on your brand, really focus on your niche, and really focus on how you want to brand yourself. Because that's the thing. Like, it's like working for an employer, right? Like, it's like they're only going to pay you so much. But I'll be honest, the way NBA players are getting paid now, man, they're getting paid nice. They're getting paid really nice. They said max is up,
and it's going to be even more because I hear the new NBA deal is going to be over $70 billion. Yeah,
it's crazy, man.
I think NBC is going to pay, because I think they're going to take the time away from Turner. I think NBC is going to pay 2.8 billion. Excuse me. I think ABC and ESPN will pay $3 billion, and I think Amazon's going to pay like another $2 billion. But that's just like yearly. So I think the whole deal is like worth, I don't know, I think it's like a 10 or 15-year deal. I'm not too sure. It hasn't been finalized yet. They're just talking about it, but they're saying that the next deal is probably going to be over $70 billion.
Wow. That's a lot. Yeah. So it's going to be even more money going to their pockets.
Now, one thing that I don't agree with, I feel like Angel should have got a bigger endorsement too. And I feel like that's why like some people were upset and saying it's like a racial thing. But it kind of looks like bad just because like, you know, she was the top player last year. What's the girl name again? Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark, yeah.
Yeah, Caitlin was the top player this year. You feel me? I feel like they're equally like they go head to head. I feel like those two players brought the attention to the sport, and I feel like they deserve it like a damn near equal share of the pie when it comes to endorsements.
Yeah, I think it depends on like who brings like I think Caitlin got paid what she got paid is because of how many people she's brought into like watching the sport. I think that that's critical too. I'm not saying Angel Reese doesn't draw people, but it's mainly I think the entire thing when Angel Reese kind of started with her like with the beef with Caitlin Clark, right? It was kind of based off of like the drama there. People love drama, so LSU did not win the title this year, but they won the title the year before. And when they did it, when she did like the taunt, the Caitlin Clark does, like the "You Can't See Me" taunt, that was kind of like the first time people really spoke, I feel, about Angel Reese is when she did that to Caitlin Clark. I think Caitlin Clark was kind of already putting things on the map. I'm not saying that like she doesn't deserve a good payday. I'm just saying I think that a lot of the WNBA is like the viewership is definitely the majority of it is because of Caitlin Clark, which is why I think like without Caitlin Clark, I don't know where the WNBA would really be. So
I feel like because of the beef, it brought attention, like how you said it. But I feel like the WNBA really don't even understand what they have. They have two top players, like two players that's beefing. It's like having Steph Curry and LeBron. Like that's a level of beef y'all have right now, and I feel like they don't even notice that this is that they can basically market the WNBA with those two players alone, and it will draw attention. Like imagine them two go in the WNBA finals together head to head. That's gonna bring so much attention to the sport. That's gonna drive the ratings up because you got two rivals in college go like hit the WNBA and they're battling each other for a title. That's like that beef alone can change the dynamic of the WNBA. That's one of the reasons why I feel like they probably should get more of an equal endorsement deal. But I mean, sometimes like her not getting that, Angel not getting that, might be motivation for her to do something crazy in the WNBA.
yeah, and there's no reason
We'll
that she
see.
can't get. There's no reason she can't get a bigger endorsement down the line. I mean, like
Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. Like she has every opportunity to do so. It's they can kind of like all eyes are on the WNBA right now. I think a lot of women like you see them with the Fallon, Caitlin Clark and stuff. You know what though? Their names are getting mentioned when they do stuff like that. So what happens is a lot of eyes are on people. When you get eyes on people, that's what's drawing revenue and that's what's drawing money. So the more eyes you can get on yourself is critical. I can't knock anybody for being out here to hustle right now. There's money to go around and people are taking opportunities to do so. And, there's a lot of popularity. Like I said, I posted a short this morning on it. It got 10,000 views already. Like
yeah.
a lot of people are talking about this right now.
The one thing about Caitlin Kirk that's being talked about that I saw recently, like the girl, the foul that she got, like somebody showed a video of how it started, and it's like Caitlin Clark pushed the girl first in the beginning, but then like the girl got her revenge, like blatantly got her revenge. Caitlin Clark kind of did it in a play, so it's like yeah, like she's a superstar. So you mean anything that happens to her is amplified, but like come on, like it's just part of the game. That's how I look at it. Like that foul, that like you don't want to see nobody hurt. At the same time, it's part of the game when it comes to like the competitive, the fouling, the talking trash. It's all part of the game. Like if you
Yeah.
ever play ball, you're going to get fouled. You're going to get somebody's gonna hit you with a sneaky like push. Somebody's gonna talk like trash. Like it's just part of the game. But it's supposed to drive you to go harder. You mean to go for that win. So
Yeah, I think
I feel like it's a good opportunity, man. I'm just we're
Yeah,
watching a sport develop to its full potential in real time right now.
exactly. Yeah, we're gonna see what happens. You know, I think it's just gonna continue to grow. I think it's gonna continue to grow as time goes on. And yeah, Caitlin Clark technically she could have took more money to go to Ice Cube's Big Three League. She could have took more money up front because Ice Cube was offering her more money than WNBA was ever going to pay her. But I think her ultimate thing is she wanted to help the WNBA grow. So she actually went to the WNBA, I think, because of that, if I had to take a guess. So she's actually trying to help the league, where she could have just took a payday and went to Ice Cube's Big Three League. But she didn't do that. So I'm
I
curious.
mean, I feel like Ice Cube League is a league that is for like retirement players, or not just retirement players, but players that's not in the league anymore. That's like basically a retirement, like players that's not really in the league and they still want to play ball, but they're not in no type of leagues and they're just chilling in the house and they might be working out in the gym. Most of them are retired, I think. I don't know. I know some players play games. They may be still in the league or they might be like vacation or not in the finals. So you play for the big three. Whatever the case is, I feel like her going to the big three, straight out of like college wouldn't be a good sign. Like even though they might be offering you more money, I will work out a deal to do it on my off season, but not during the main season. Like you still got to build that reputation and that name for yourself.
Yeah,
You
they
still want
offered
a
her.
WNBA title. You still wanna be in the record books in the WNBA.
Yeah,
Feel me?
they offered her $5 million to play in 8 games.
I think she could have took that though.
She could have. She didn't take it. She had an opportunity to take it. But she'll
Crazy,
make.
man. Yo, 5 million against 75,000.
But
Yeah, I
who
know it's
who
crazy.
Holy shit.
That's the thing.
who
That's the thing. She got her endorsements anyway.
who would she be playing against though?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't watch the big three, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't watch it either. I didn't watch it. I never even watched the WNBA until kind of all this stuff kind of happened. So
I
the
mean,
good to
I
know
think
that.
that I thought the big three was like old NBA stars. So, like for her talent, would she be playing against like I don't even know who would be playing like Allen Iverson or somebody like that? Like would she be playing like old NBA talent?
Let me see. They got teams. I'm looking at their thing, the Big Three League.
Like is it a mixture of WNBA players and NBA players, or is this just
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know. That's a good question. Let me see.
and if Ice Cube is if Ice Cube is listening, put me in
Yeah,
the oh, that's bad form.
no. They've
Put me
never.
in the
They
game.
no. She would have been. She would have been playing with guys. She would have. Yeah, there's no female players in the Big Three, so she would have been playing with men.
Yeah, so that could have been a big step. You feel me? That could have been a cross of a woman playing with men on a professional level. We never saw that yet.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see. But yeah, no, I personally think it's better that she went to the WNBA. I think it's better for the league and also.
Yeah, I wish them the best of luck.
But Ice Cube, if you listening, man, throw me in one of them games.
Yeah, I'll take $5 million.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
I'll take 5 million at bounce.
I'll take 500,000.
Give me 100K.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you, hey, give me 100K. I'll play one
maybe
game.
200K because the taxes and stuff.
Nah, fuck that shit, man. I want the 5 mil. Give me the
I
5
take
mil and
5
I'll
million
bounce.
Man, so it's
We
going
should
to
do
be
a
interesting.
Ice Cube should do a rappers against NBA players. You know what I mean?
Like a league like that.
Yeah, like
Pretty
I'll
cool. I
do
like
it. I'll take me, J.
Oh,
Cole.
they're underway. Mavs
Yeah.
and Celtics. It's 13-12 right now, Mavericks.
already started. All right, cool.
Yeah. So I'm probably hop off in a sec so I can catch some of this game. I want to watch some of the game. I'll be posting more content though as the week. Like I said, this was my buddy Tyler was supposed to come on this week. I had to reschedule him for next week. So I appreciate y'all coming on. And for everybody else out there watching us, we got some viewers in here. See you guys next week. Mike, I know that you're trying to promote your system. My buddy Mike commented in, and for like his company that he's working for right now. But Mike, just drop on the comment. Just drop the name of your company. You can post it on the Facebook page, or just drop it in the comments. This is a live chat, so this YouTube live chat's going to disappear when this is over. I will go on the Facebook page if you want to promote it and just promote it over there. With that being said, thanks to everyone who tuned in. Thank you, boys, for coming on tonight. It's a pleasure talking this with you. And
thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my bad. I came on so late. I thought I didn't get the link.
I texted it. I sent it through text. It's all good, man. You came on, so it's all that matters, man. You got your points in. Go Mavericks. Go Mavs.
The Mavericks are winning the first game.
Yo, I never asked you real quick. We'll pop off in a second. How many games you got this series going?
It might be a wash.
No, what? You think you're going to sweep them?
I got to see what the game's like today. Even if they don't sweep them, maybe 1-5 or 6-2. I don't know if it's gonna go 7.
Okay, I can see 6.
If it goes 7 though, I mean I said 1-2. I meant like 5-1. But if it goes 7, I got the Mavericks.
Me too.
Same.
We're gonna see what's gonna happen. All right, fellas, I'm gonna pop off here.
All right, man. Take care, bro.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
All right.